Hello, my name is Omar Abisad. It is December 16, 2016 at 8 p.m. in Toronto. And today I'm just going to read a little bit about aging and meditation. And it's from a book called Ageless Body, Timeless Mind by Deepak Chopra. That's the book. And it's about connecting mind, body, and spirit. And this is just one of the coping mechanisms that I used to cope with some stressful events that's happened in my life recently. So anyway, I'm just going to share with you some insights that I got from the book. So the chapter is called Connecting Mind, Body, and Spirit. So here we go. So at every stage of spiritual growth, the greatest ally you have is your body. Is this statement surprising to you? Most of us assume that body and spirit stand at opposite ends of the spectrum. When we feel sensations that are body-centered, such as hunger and thirst, pain and pleasure, we do not regard them as spiritual experiences. Sensuousness, which encompasses the whole range of physical delight, is often considered low compared to the heights the soul can reach. But spirituality must also be sensuous, because a spiritual person is one who lives fully in the present moment, which means living fully in the body. Maharishi inspired me to see that using meditation as a way to defeat aging was a legitimate spiritual goal. Unfortunately, our culture has made the mistake of deciding that the human body is a machine, an inert lump of matter that works without any intelligence of its own. This misconception led to a second mistake, that the most spiritual people must be those who renounce the body, deny its passions, or at the very least attempt to control its desires. This kind of prejudice against the body runs contrary to the way that nature fashioned us. Nature balanced mind, body, and spirit as co-creators of our personal reality. You cannot do a single thing, from falling in love to uttering a prayer to metabolizing a molecule of sucrose, without affecting everything that you are. The body is the platform that allows any experience to emerge and see the light of day. It is the 3D projection of billions of separate processes going on at any moment, including a process as profound as coming to know the reality of God. In our society, people suffer from a sense that spirit is basically separate from them. Our bodies process food, air, and water perfectly well without spirit. Our minds effectively think about a million things without touching upon spirit. We find it easy to set aside spiritual life, waiting for the day when some as yet impossible leap takes us out of everyday life into a more exalted realm. Every aspect of reality is one piece of a mystery, a facet of overarching wholeness, the totality of what is. Atoms, molecules, rocks, stars, and the human body are material expressions of what is. Pain and pleasure are psychological expressions of what is. Compassion and love are spiritual expressions of what is. When the material, psychological, and spiritual dimensions are brought into balance, life becomes whole, and this union brings feelings of comfort and security. I'm just going to read that again. When the material, psychological, and spiritual dimensions are brought into balance, life becomes whole, and this union brings feelings of comfort and security. Only if you feel sure of your place in the universe can you begin to face the fact that you're surrounded by creation and destruction as they constantly play themselves out. You cannot defeat entropy as a physical force, but you can rise to a level of realization that this is not touched by entropy. Let me say that again. You cannot defeat entropy as a physical force, but you can rise to a level of realization that is not touched by entropy. At the deepest level, intelligence is immune to decay. Your cells come and go, yet your body's knowledge of how to make a cell survives and gets passed on generation after generation. The evolutionary intelligence that DNA embodies has many levels, and our task as humans is to experience every level and make each a part of ourselves. In the midst of change, there are 5 realizations that entropy cannot touch. They are expressed in every spiritual tradition and form the core of personal evolution age after age. They are: 1. I am spirit. 2. This moment is as it should be. 3. Uncertainty is part of the overall order of things. 4. Change is infused with non-change. 5. Entropy holds no threat because it is under the control of infinite organizing power. These realizations are crucial because they allow a person to rise above the whirl of duality, which is inevitably caught up in the battle of creation and destruction. There is a perspective that the New Testament calls seeing with one eye, a state of unity in which all events, however painful or distressing at the moment, serve one end, which is intelligent, loving, and well ordered. This unified perspective cannot be forced on anyone until his or her consciousness is prepared to accept it. If you are caught up in your own pain and convinced by your own life drama that your perspective and that is your perspective, you have a right to. Let me say that again. If you are caught up in your own pain and convinced by your own life drama that is your perspective, and you have a right to it, but everyone wants an end to pain and suffering. And at a certain point in your personal evolution, these 5 realizations will form the trail that leads the mind out of suffering. And he goes on to talk about the 5 points that I just listed. So I'm just going to stop there. It's 7 minutes of reading. Don't want to go on too much because a lot of what he writes about takes a lot of thinking to digest. So I'm just going to break it up into small bits. This is how I digest it. So I'm just going to present it that way to you. So we'll read some more next time. Thank you.